What's going on, everybody? My name is Derailious. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going over beacons, why I think they're some of the most overpowered items in Hypixel Skyblock, and why I recommend that you get your hands on them as soon as possible. Before we get into this though, I do want to say I really appreciate all the support recently and hope you guys could subscribe and leave a like down below, as well as join my Discord, as it's the best place to get updates on future content. On that note, let's get right into this. Starting off, we first have to talk about how to make a beacon. As you can see, I have one on my island, but before we get into that, we're going to show you how it's made. Basically, if you go into your mining collection and then you head into Mithril, for 1 million Mithril collection, you have the ability to craft a beacon. This beacon costs about 3 stacks of enchanted Mithril, a stack of Starfall, and 5 glass to craft at tier 1. This actually isn't that expensive, as the most expensive part of the beacon, the 3 stacks of enchanted Mithril, cost about 780,000 coins, if I'm not mistaken. The important part about this as well is that the Starfall is literally dirt cheap. Starfall sells for about 25 coins per item, which means the stack is only 1,700 coins, meaning it's about 782,000 coins to craft a beacon. This is also important as on the auction house, beacons sell for a decent amount. If you look up the word beacon and you just, find one, go to lowest price and then you just click through, the cheapest beacon is about 1.1 million right now, meaning that if you have the ability to craft these, you can earn about 400,000 coins per beacon, which is insane, and I really recommend you do it. As you can see though, quite obviously, these beacons have tiers, and there's a reason for this, and I'll get into that in a moment. Clicking on the beacon, it pops up with a really pretty and clean GUI, however we're going to start off with the bottom, because that is beacon power. It consumes power crystals to power up the beacon and its effects. A single power crystal will power it for up to 48 hours, and power crystals can be stacked for long periods of time. I made 4 of them and they last for 8 days on a tier 1 beacon, so that's pretty important. In order to craft a power crystal, you just need 256 Starfall and a couple of hours in the forge. They're not that hard to craft, they're really easy actually, and I highly recommend you get your hands on as many as possible, as that will allow you to power a beacon for a very long period of time. Clicking on the top now, we can see that at tier 1, the beacon has a range of 120 blocks, buffs minions by 2%, has 1 effect, and 12 stats. As you level up the beacon though, these stats really do improve, all the way to tier 5, which gives you a 10% minion buff, 6 effects, 140 range, and 12 stats. The minion buff is probably the most important thing here, as well as the beacon effect. As you can see, beacons are able to apply an effect for people on the island and within range. For instance, at tier 1 you can get 50 speed, tier 2 you can get jump boost 2, haste 2, regeneration 2, and then a combination of 40 strength and 40 defense. I really recommend that you get the tier 5 one when you level up your beacon, however at tier 1 obviously you can only get the speed buff. The profile stats are actually really insane as well. As you keep leveling up your beacon, you'll be able to apply more of them. Basically, these are just +1 or +10 buffs to pretty much every stat in the game, and are generally really useful as they don't just apply on your island. They apply to everyone on the profile everywhere, which makes them a really nice item. I actually got the +1 magic find, however, you can continue to tier it up, and it will continue to get more powerful, all the way at tier 5, which will likely be 5 magic find. Summoning is coming soon, and it seems to imply that we'll be able to summon mobs, but that's not necessarily the most important thing. In my opinion, the minion buff is. You see, a tier 5 minion, or a tier 5 beacon rather, can give you a 10% minion buff to all the minions on your island. That's really insane, especially considering how many other minion buffs there are out there, especially considering how they stack. As well as this, I will now be going over how to actually craft upgraded variants of beacons. But in order to do that, we're going to have to head to the deep caverns. Heading over to the forger and clicking on him, we can go over to item casting to see the upgraded beacons. These upgraded beacons require a tier 1 and tier 2 beacon respectively, as well as 5 and 10 refined mithril. This is actually awfully expensive when you consider that 1 refined mithril is worth about 895,000 coins. In order to get 10, as per a tier 3 beacon, you would need over 9 million coins. I would much rather spend that currently on a drill or something else, possibly a drill upgrade, not necessarily on a beacon. However, as the price of refined mithril continues to fall day in and day out, I can see it becoming a more worthwhile expense. The reason why I don't think it's worthwhile at the minute is notably because of the fact that a tier 4 and tier 5 beacon, which give you the most buffs obviously, are absurdly expensive because of it. Going on the auction house and seeing the highest overall tier beacon, tier 5, sell for 200 million coins is quite insane. Aside from that price being, ridiculous, there are also some other minor issues I could see with beacons, notably the fact that a lot of the buffs can only apply on the island. The ones that can't are pretty strong, notably the Magic Find one. However, other than the Magic Find one, I don't necessarily recommend getting very many other ones. I guess crit chance would be interesting if you somehow still don't have 100% crit chance, and if you're not using God Pots, I could see things like the regeneration perk that it has at tier 3 being mildly useful. However, I don't necessarily recommend it as a substitute to cookies, nor do I recommend it as a substitute to God Pots. Beacons seem to be mostly focused on making minions even faster, which is quite insane. We've already gotten to the point where max snow minion farms can produce like upwards of 8 million coins a day, and with this 10% buff, it's only going to get more insane. Once again, because of the fact that minion timers have gotten so low in the past little while, a 10% buff does not just increase yield by 10%, it increases it by close to 50%, meaning that you'll be getting basically double output for only 10% faster, which is quite insane. Thinking about it that way makes it seem like a super overpowered buff, but the heavy expenditure meant to put into it means that it might not be as overpowered as it seems, as well as trying to get the starfall necessary to make power crystals, and probably starfall will shoot up in price after this video goes out because everyone will be trying to get their hands on the beacon. For now though, I recommend you get your hands on the beacon just at least to test it out and to see how it works. I'm really happy that they ended up adding beacons to the game in an actual form that isn't just this is a collector's item and that's it. And the summoning aspect seems really cool, although we don't necessarily know what it entails yet. On that note though, I don't want to take up too much of your time, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this video on how to use the beacon fundamentally. It's really nice to see that we don't actually have to put that many resources into it, and it's generally a simple task. On that note though, hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out, everybody.